Our very well-known and famous Tony Lewis will be debuting at the Cornwall Civic Complex with his boxing skills this coming April, as well as two other known local boxers. Here with a little bit more is David Murphy. Let's take a look.
Joining me now at Champs Eastside Boxing Club in Cornwall is Tony Lewis. And Tony Lewis with a big fight, Luis Nunez headlining the Cornwall Civic Complex. And this is your first fight as a professional and you're headlining the show. Your thoughts on that?
It's been a long time coming. It's long overdue. Nice to be finally fighting at home. We never thought that the day would come when we'd get the chance to fight in my hometown. But it's finally here, and I think it couldn't happen at a better time. I mean, a few years ago, you could have said that I was maybe still an unproven prospect. Now I think it's enough fans in the community have been following my career on TV, and they know that I'm an established world-class contender. So I think now is the best time to showcase my skills here in Cornwall.
Speaking of world-class, your record's 22-3, 7 knockouts. Your opponent 17-4 with 13 knockouts. That sounds like a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, he's a good puncher. I'm going to have to use my speed and boxing ability to overcome his strengths. And I know I've been to places he hasn't been. I know my experience and my seasoning and my boxing ability is gonna dictate the fight.
You talk about that. Do you draw on your world title fight that you had overseas a little over a year ago and your level of competition that you faced? Because you have faced some tough competition and you've prevailed.
I mean, obviously the world title experience, but everything. There's been a few signature fights that I can draw back on to pull me through and apply what I've learned on April 15th.
And of course, again, getting back to the hometown feel, there's 3 local boxers from Champs. You kind of wear that badge with honor whenever you say you're from Champs and you're fighting in Cornwall.
Absolutely. I mean, this little gym has come a long way, and now it's gotten to a point where, we're starting to. I've always said for years, I'm the first pro to come out of this gym, but I won't be the last, and that's starting to ring true. And a lot of times too now in camps leading up to fights, a lot of guys from the bigger cities for years we were chasing going to Montreal and Ottawa and this and that, and now they're starting to come here for camps, and they want to come here to little Cornwall and work with us. People know where Cornwall is now because of Champs. So.
And a lot of that has to do with George Lewis, happens to be your father, but also from now till April 15th, he's not your dad, he's your trainer.
Oh, absolutely. He wears a different hat whenever he's in the gym working with me, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's how it is.
Tony Lewis, good luck April 15th, and we know you're going to put on a good show for the hometown crowd.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Thank you.
The head trainer at Champs Eastside Boxing Club, while head trainer, owner, operator, chief cook and bottle washer, mops the floors even too, George Lewis joins us. And George, April 15th, big fight night, boxing returns to Cornwall with Champs, a heavy part of that card. Thoughts on that?
It's been years of hard work and labor, and we have Cornwall has a good local product to display, and usually Cornwall likes to support a local talent, just like hockey. They like to follow somebody that's, and we have that now, and now, the timing is right. Everything happens for a reason, and I think the timing, it couldn't be better than what it is now.
Now, of course, Tony Lewis, the headliner, fighting Luis Nunez, big headline, but on the undercard, a lot of Champs flavor, and we'll start with Ronnie Robidoux, Ronnie the Rocket, 2-0.
Yes, Ronnie's 2-0, and I didn't start Ronnie out. He started with the Messina Club with my buddy Doogie, and he had his first 20 to 30 amateur fights with him, and then I picked him up down the road after that, and I've had the pleasure of working with Ronnie. I must have worked about 20, 25 of his amateur fights. He trained under me, and then he turned pro, and he's 2-0 so far, and cross our fingers. And still a lot of hurdles for the young man to jump over, but he certainly has youth, talent, and a ton of potential on his side.
And that sounds pretty familiar, too, with Larry Fryers as well. Yeah. Originally from Ireland. Tell us how he made his way through Champs.
He actually he made his way to Champs via Catskill, New York. He was training in Mike Tyson's old gym, and he actually fought Ronnie in their last amateur bout together. And they fought each other. And afterward, he got talking to my buddy Bob Miller, who has a camp in Altona, New York, just outside Plattsburgh. And so Bob invited him up and said, come train at my camp, come spend a week or two. And Ronnie brought him over here to train. He liked the training. And he had tried out gyms in the Albany area and Catskill area, and he really liked it here, and reminded him of the gyms back home. And he liked the way we worked, and so he decided to come up to Plattsburgh, him and his wife, and they got a job. And he travels up here about 3 times a week to train with me.
Well, that talks about dedication, and of course, your dedication as well. 3 fighters on the card, April 15th. It's pretty easy to get tickets. You want to let us in on how to get tickets?
All you have to do is go down to the Cornwall Civic Complex. That's the best way to do it. The old-fashioned way, go pick them up in person. You'll save a little bit of money. You can get them at admission.com online too. But if you go to Civic Complex, I understand it's about $6 cheaper per ticket. And, you're supporting your town. You're supporting a good local product. And it's good for business for the whole town. It's good for the hotels, the restaurants, the spin-off that this will create. And if it goes well and we get a good crowd, the promoters are going to do it again. Why wouldn't they do it again? And it'll give us a home base to work off of, and it'll give us a little bit of clout and a little bit of that we never had before. And hopefully down the road it's going to attract more shows here and other fights that we'll create, and hopefully like Cable 11, TV cameras will follow.
Now, of course, I can't let you go off Kojiko TV without asking about the main event. Nunez, Lewis, your thoughts on how that's going to shake down. It's going to be an entertaining tilt.
Yes, it will. It's not a walk in the park. It's not an easy fight. The Ontario Commission is very strict on how they regulate fights. So we knew that, and at this stage of Tony's career, that he has to be able to beat those guys at that level in order to take the step to go to the next level, and in order to attract other opponents to come and fight him here in Cornwall in the future. He has to be able to beat those kind of guys, and we want to show that, hey, you know what, Tony is good. You know what, and we're not afraid to put him up against a good opponent as a result.
April 15th, Cornwall Civic Complex. You can get your tickets, again, through admissions.com or right at the Civic Complex. Save some service charges.